Hello! Today I'm going to be reviewing some scotches for all y'all. And we're not going into Speysiders that no one cares about. Not this time. No, today we are going to be reviewing new distilleries that no one cares about because they aren't named Ardnamurchan or Glengyle or, I don't know, Ardnahoe or... They aren't any of the ones getting hype. We're going to do Glasgow because I got a tasting set, and we are going to do Wolfburn because I got a Christmas-themed tasting set. So, of course, I have to do this one. So, we've got Lowlands, really kind of west side of Glasgow, and we have got the most northerly mainland distillery in Scotland, the new one. It's actually further north than Pulteney and Wick. This is right on, like, you go further north and you're hitting the water. All right, okay, but we'll do this second. We'll do this in two rounds. Now, here's the thing. I already poured these because I got interrupted halfway through doing my introduction. I completely lost my place, so just pretend I'm pouring these now. Yeah, Glasgow Distillery. There's not a lot of hot hype behind these folks, but I am very excited to try these, and I will tell you why. Is because at least one of these bottles, and I think some of their production in general, is triple distilled. Do you have any idea at all how jonesing I have been for well-presented triple distilled lowland malt whiskey? Because there isn't a lot out there, folks. I mean, Auchentoshan is there, and they're kind of a hot mess because Beam Centauri won't let them, do a whole lot of fun things. So yeah, I'm just like I'm out there really hoping for good lowlands, triple distilled lowland style malts, and lo and behold, they make one. So we're gonna taste this. This is the one I'm excited about. I'm also a little scared because it's matured in ex-bourbon and virgin oak. And that's a little scary. And then they got their so-called original, which is finished in bourbon oak. That's a little scary too. And then we have got a peated version, which is matured in virgin oak and finished in Pedro Jimenez sherry. That's a little bit scary. No age statement on any of these, but they've been around for over a decade now, so they've had some time. And yeah, I think I remember seeing non-chill filtered somewhere on here. Oh well, I mean it's 46%, so that's good enough for me. Let's get started. This is the one I'm excited about. We are going to start off with the triple distilled version. Please be good. Please be good. I need it to be good. So right off the bat, I am getting a heck of a lot of American oak. Vanilla out the wazoo. But I'm not getting, like, raw ginger and, like, sawdust. I'm not getting those things, and that's a good sign. That means the virgin oak hasn't really interfered with this too much. Yeah, there's some Lipton's tea happening. And a lot of, like, gummy candy. There's some gummy bears, some gummy worms. Certainly a clumps of grass kind of character. Orange blossom honey. And just like a little bit of orange peel, honestly. Pear, apple, very fruity. But also like a little bit of a beery thing going on, but nice. Like a little bit of a pale ale happening. I mean, it smells young, but I mean, this is kind of scratching a happy part of my brain that really misses the whatever the hell the Auchentoshan Valanche. Anyone else? Any other old Valanche fans here? God, I love that stuff, and this is kind of scratching the same happy place for me. Okay, I mean it's not a super duper complicated nose. It's light. We're emphasizing the gummies and the vanillas, and I'm okay with that. A little bit of a vanilla latte thing in there as well. Let's go on the palate. certainly not a deep, profound, thinking kind of whiskey, but it's putting a smile on my face. This is what I was hoping it would be. It is very Auchentoshan. We are bringing the vanilla. We are bringing the Lipton's tea. More tea bags than actual stewed tea this time, but Lipton's. We are bringing all the gummies, plus a little bit of like a Red Hots. There's a little bit of like one or two like cinnamony candies in here too. But gummy worms, gummy bears. Certainly some, what is that? And you're really mostly following the nose here. There's a grassiness, but it's not really, it's almost like in addition to Lipton's tea, if you had like a nettle tea kind of thing, there's, like a little bit of a nettle tea character. Your vanilla latte, a little bit of a coffee thing. Yeah, it's as if we're kind of halfway in between Auchentoshan and what you would get with like an Irish pot still whiskey. There's a little bit of more of a graininess coming through here, but it's not grain. It's not actual graininess. It's more like that kind of a nettle tea thing going on. Maybe there's like a little bit of an oatmeal character to this. I like this. I'm a fan. It's young. I really think this will start to get interesting once it starts to hit, 12 years old, 14 years old, somewhere in that territory. This is going to be pretty good. At the moment, I still like it. I will give it some water and we'll come back to it. That's not... Okay, there we go. Moving on. This is the original, which I believe is just double distilled, but they're not telling me. All right, so this is the one that was finished in virgin oak, which is actually a hair bit scarier than the other one. Let's see what it's got. And this one we're starting to get into like I'm walking into a cooperage territory. This one we are getting some sawdust. Dang it. But also some more fruit. How should I put that? We're switching a lot of the gummy candy stuff for straight up apple, pear, a little bit of peach. But a lot of sawdust, vanilla too, obviously. But also like stewed and unstewed English breakfast tea, white pepper, a little bit of wildflower honey drizzled over everything. That kind of orangey note. More of a cereal component on this one, like a little bit of what is that? Not oatmeal. It's just, how about regular Special K? Not the strawberry one. We're talking regular Special K. Yeah, more orange. This is fun. But yeah, there's not a lot, but more raw wood on this than I'm super duper comfortable with. I'm hoping water does not make that worse. I could see it making it worse. On the palate. Got to be careful with virgin oak, y'all. It's okay. It's not as much as a disaster as some of the virgin oak finished whiskeys that I've had. Deanston, I'm looking at you. But yeah, not really my favorite. You're getting a lot of, pretty much the same stuff as on the nose. You're getting apple, pear, wildflower honey, tea notes. Orange notes. Grainy notes, Special K. Even a little bit of like a sochu touch. That's fun. Like a rice sochu thing. But then it's kind of, especially on the back end, it's all kind of like pulled back by a wave of, well, the vanilla's up front, but a wave of like sawdust and a little bit of raw ginger and just a lot of wood. Yeah, I think for me to be a fan of this, they'd have to really pull back the wood in future bottlings. I think it's just too chewy. But stylistically, yeah, I mean, we're not really that far from Ireland. I mean, this is reminiscent of, some of the more aggressively woody coulis that I've had. Yeah, there's some fun fruit components. A little peachy, but I don't like the wood. On the palate, we're adding some water. I already did the palate. We're adding some water. All right. Moving on. This is the one I'm scared of. Yeah, it's peated, and it's matured in virgin oak and then PX. God almighty. It's, unless there was some red wine in there or some port, it would be hard to name a combination of woods that I would find less appealing. Yeah, it is their own peated whiskey, though. They are distilling, the peat themselves. So yeah, I'm super duper excited to try this. A little scared, but excited. Okay, whoa. Swampy peat, stinky peat, barnyardy peat. Yeah, this is not nice, clean, maritime Isla peat with its, seashells and a kick of brininess. No brine here. You're getting peat smoked stinky animals for the most part, and like mud and poo but nice poo. Like, you know what I'm talking about, like dried poo that's good for the grass. Am I getting? I'm getting the sherry. Yeah, there's a little bit of a raisinette kind of character to this. Black pepper. Some vanilla coming through. But it's not getting in the way of the peat, and that makes me happy. The only problem with this is I'm not going to get a whole lot behind the peat. There's a little bit of a graininess, a little bit of like that kind of oatmeal meets Special K kind of thing. Special K with almonds. Let's go with that. So maybe some, espresso, like strong coffee. More mud, more pepper. I mean, it's got notes that I like. It just doesn't have a lot of, depth to it. It smells. Yeah, I don't know what to say. I've described what this smells like as best to my best ability. On the palate. Okay. So first off, not the disaster I was fearing. This is actually pretty good. I think I like this more than the original. Yeah, stinky, barnyardy peat is the main theme here. Dirt and mud and poo and stinky dogs and pigs and horses. Maybe a few llamas thrown in there. There's some grassiness to this too, like peaty, muddy grass. Graininess, yeah. There's a little bit of like a, stinky oatmeal thing. little bit of an ashtray character. I'm not sure if I'm such a huge fan of that. But honestly, overall impression, this is okay. I am an old enough fogey that I would remember when there were just a handful of releases of Peated Bladnoch that came out. A lot of them were sherried. I got to try a couple of them. Those were good. Those were good-ass whiskeys. This puts me in mind of that without being anywhere near that good. Although it's still okay. No, computer. Don't restart. I mean, it feels young. It feels a little bit clipped in the mouth. I don't like the ashtray thing. Some black pepper. The sherry isn't doing much for me. So it's the sherry is kind of covering over the raw oak a little bit. I'm not getting it. It's a little bit like a raisin-soaked woody thing, rather than just a straight woody thing, or straight raisins, and that kind of works. It's just not my favorite. I'm torn on this one. I really like the distillate. I really like whatever is underneath all the wood here, and I wish they'd just throw it in some straight, first fill bourbon casks and let it shine through. This is still okay, but it is what it is. They have to. I guess there's buyers on the market who are really demanding a virgin oak and PX matured lowland peater. Okay, let's go back through. At current time, my order is third, second, first. So let's try the triple distilled again. Yeah. I just love this style. I really, really love this style. Oh, and the gummy worms have really come out to play now. I feel like I'm just nosing like gummy candy. Like that's all that's happening. Plus vanilla. I mean, there's like a vanilla cakey, vanilla cookie thing happening as well. I mean, a lot of the internet, I haven't checked other reviews of this, but a lot of the internet, I will imagine, is going to look at this and say, it's too basic, it's too simple. And I disagree. Like, this isn't trying to throw extreme crazy flavors at you, but what it's much more, turned down than that. This is not going to smash your head open with huge oak or peatiness or whatever, but it's just lovely. Oh, there's some a little bit of strawberry creeping through now. Oh, this is good. I just love the style on the palate. Glasgow folks, if you're listening, more like this, please. Just older. Just older. That's all it needs. Oh. Yeah, water has just... Well, first of all, it's brought in an oiliness to this, which I really like. There's a viscosity to this now, which I really, really absolutely appreciate. It feels like it's just like covering my mouth in gummies and apple pear stuff and honey. I mean, I could pick this apart a little bit. The mouth presence is not, out of this world by any means. Finish is okay, but could be better. Mouth length is okay, but could be better. But if you like this style, if you, like me, miss the Auchentoshan Valanche, if you miss the world of triple distilled lowland whiskeys, this is well worth checking out. tea notes, the cafe latte notes are still there. This is just good. And it'll get better as it gets older. I'll get this an 85. I will go 85 points on this. And that is a little bit of a step up from where it was without water. So it swims well. Bear that in mind. Moving on to the original. This is the least of the lineup for me on first run through. Let's see what it's got now. It's just... the nose is receded, if anything. Like the triple distilled is just hopping out to greet me the second I get my nose anywhere near the glass. But this is just... yeah, it smells like, mashed apples and pears that have been covered in sawdust. And a little bit of like Special K with almonds. And that's most of what's going on. A little bit of white pepper. I like the fruit. Again, the oak's kind of getting in the way. And it also feels like the oak is just kind of like pulling back the whole affair. The oak did not like my adding water to this. On the palate. Yeah, the oak kicks out. It's not bad. I mean, it's not. Again, we're miles beyond the Deanston Virgin Oak. At least the last I tried it, which was just god awful. Really, I feel a little bit like I've been chewing on a 2x4, but it's a 2x4 where someone stuck some appley perry honeyed goodness on there, so I'm not too mad. But I'm still chewing on a 2x4. Yeah, lots of pepper, lots of wood, lots of vanilla, sawdust. But you got the foundations of a nice fruity malt there. You just need to get all the excessive wood out of the way. No, I prefer the... hold on, let me try the triple one more time. Oh, my God, by miles. The triple distilled for me is just better composed all the way through. It's got more going on, better balanced by a lot. I will give the original 82 points. It's certainly better than your basic Fiddicks and Levitts and stuff. And God, don't even get me started on the current Auchentoshan range. But certainly not one I'll be reaching for unless it's really, really, really on the closeout shelf. Even maybe not then, because I got enough bottles back there. All right, let's go to the peater. On the nose. Exactly the same. No, wait. Okay, there's some like seashells, complete with the touch of sea salt, kind of kicking in now. So yeah, maybe you brought some of those stinky animals to the beach for a day, and they got some beachside stuff all over them before they went back to the farm. But overall, yeah, I mean, pretty much the same nose, just a little bit more maritime now, and that's okay with me. On the palate. Oh, geez. Okay, this really, really, really did not like that water. The mouth presence just shuts down. Jesus. I mean, never had a ton, a ton of length to begin with. This is probably the youngest of the bunch. I don't know, but that would be my guess. It never had a ton of length in the mouth. Most of what's happening was up front, but now it's just like kind of arrives, pow, and then nothing at all back here. And what's there really just kind of fades pretty quick. Yeah, don't add water to this. No, this is enough of a problem that I'm gonna take a point away. It's still okay. Like, I'm still kind of enjoying it, but don't add water to this. Other than the absolute crash on the mouth presence, and I did not drown this. Like, it's holding together. It's just like not having a good day. Everything else is exactly the same. It's a ton of farmy peat, a little bit of stinky farmy oatmeal, and some wood planks that have been rubbed down with raisins. I mean, that's kind of what it tastes like. This is like an 84 minus. Well, I don't. Is that too? No, that's not too generous. Let's call this an 84 minus 1. I still like, which is to say, it's an 83. 83 points for this. Which is to say, even with its problems, I still kind of like it better than the original. So yeah, we maintain our ranking from before. First, second, third. And yeah, I think of all these, by miles, go by the triple distilled. This is the most unique thing that they make, because there's just not a lot of triple distilled lowland Scotch out there at the moment, even with all the new distilleries coming online down there. And yeah, it's better than these two. Peter has promised. Just make it older and pull back on the stupid wood choices, everyone. All right, and that is that. We're going to put those over there, and we'll move on to the Wolfburns. Now, this has a holiday sleeve, as you may notice. However, if you slide it off, like so, it's just a normal sampling pack. Wolfburn. New distillery, although it's, like a lot of these, it's based on the on the legend of an, old distillery from yonder times. Where did my other, whatever. Well, whatever, we'll figure this out. Okay. I can't figure out glassware. I feel like I'm just losing my mind here. Okay. Yeah, so long fermentations. I was trying to figure out if they did worm tubs or anything, but I think it's just regular shell and tube stuff. But they have provided me in the sample pack with 4 bottles, and I'm not going to go through them in order. They start with the Northland, which I'm not going to do. I'm going to start with the unpeated version, which is the Aurora. And we'll get that poured. Ooh, I love the color. Nice light color. But that can go there. And then we'll do the Northland, which is quarter casks, so this should be darker. And yet it's not. Oh, joy of joys. Anytime I have official bottlings and the color is relatively light, it puts a big old smile on my face, because that means I'm not, they haven't been juicing the color to kind of gain more customers. This is the Morven, which is the peated version, I believe. I'm going to keep this handy so I can tell you what, because I can't read anything on these damn bottles. And then there's the Langskip, which is I don't think this is cast strength, but it's high proof. This is 58%. All the others are 46. So that is the order I am choosing. Let's get started. I have not tried any of these before, ever. I popped the bottles this morning, kind of try to get some air in them, but that's all I know. Okay, so we're going to start with the Aurora. which is a sherry cask matured whiskey. Wait. First fill bourbon and first fill Oloroso sherry. Really? First fill. Look at that color. How much first fill? How many first fill casks can possibly be in this? Okay. No age statement, 46%. I believe these are unchill filtered. Do they say it on here? Whatever, I'm moving on. Let's get this done. I mean, it's up in we're up in the northern Highlands here, right? So inevitably, I have to compare it to Pulteney. To some extent to Clynelish too, I guess, but really to Pulteney. And my first impression is it smells like a cleaner version of Pulteney. We're getting a ton of the kind of maritime fruit up here, like salted pear, salted aromatic pear. Oh, and a ton of graininess. Oatmeal, but also like muesli with some fruit. Yeah, like just chopped fruit, like some just a mix of stuff: strawberries, blueberries, whatever you got. Some orange, maybe. But pear is definitely ruling the show here, and there's certainly like a big old sea breeze blowing into this, and a couple of rocks, like wet beach stones. Sherry, I mean, maybe. There's a little bit of an orange peel thing. A little bit of a Swisher Sweets component, but all the cask influence on this is very, very subtle, which I like. Okay, Aurora, here we go, on the palate. Oh. Hell yes. Okay. Oh. So, still a little bit young. But those of you who have been running out to buy tons and tons and tons of independent bottlings of Pulteney, come on in. Like, this is your jam. There is such a beautiful amount of like fruity stuff and grainy stuff. Again, muesli covered in like chopped, mixed fruit is the key here. There's some banana. There's a little bit of like strawberry, blueberry happening. Even some raspberry maybe. Orange peel up front. Also a ton of pear, maybe a little bit of apple happening as well. And then the back end, that's all swallowed up by, what is that? It's like a fruit astringency, but it's like hold on. Give me a second. Oh, God, I love it. It's like biting into a combination of like slightly burned banana peel and like peach pit, but they've been like marinating in salt water for a couple of hours. That's the vibe on the back end of this. It's like an astringent. It's like a fruity astringent, slightly burned maritime thing. This is cool. There's some vanilla in this too. Did I mention that? Vanilla. A little bit of English breakfast tea on this as well. No, maybe just Assam tea. Just Assam. I'm digging this. I'm going to pour more. It's certainly young. Like this, I don't think this is... we're not pushing 10 years old here by any means. We're not anywhere near that. But it's really asserting itself very, very well. Like, I'm kind of impressed with this. And it's just, and much like the Glasgow Triple Distilled, this is going to get better as it gets older. It's just going to develop more of those complex tertiary notes. All right, I'm going to add a squirt of water and move on to the heavier stuff. Okay, this is what is this? Northland. What the hell is this? This is matured exclusively in second fill American oak quarter casks. That's a little scary, but and it's partly peated, I think. Mildly. Well, hold on. They say a trace of smoke. I'm not really hold on. There is a smokiness to this, but it's not like traditional peat smoke. This one has more of a peat smoky thing. No. Okay, hold on. It's there. There is some peat there. There is some peat there, but it's that... what does that? I'm trying to think of a comparative case. Because it's a stony peat, which is very unusual. It is like... it's not maritime. I mean, there's a maritime character to this, but it's not Isla peat. I mean, don't get excited. Really don't get excited, but... This is doing peat in a way that I remember Aurora doing peat. Not as much. It's much more subtle, but it's that... it's like a stony peat. It's like the peat is... You've peated rocks or something. So very, very minerally. But then you just have this wisp of peat coming out of it. But it's its own thing. And then there's a ton of heatheriness coming out to this. This is a very different malt from the previous one. Wow. Like maritime elements, but distinct from the peaty stuff. Seashells. Okay, you're starting to get some of that same grainy, fruity thing, the muesli thing. Oh, and there's a beery element to this too. What is that? Almost like a darker Belgian or something like that, maybe? Yeah, we're on the darker side of Belgium. Lemon peel, orange peel, pear, more muesli. But it's all filtered through that like rocky peat thing, which is really fun. There's some vanilla, like old coffee grinds. Fun. On the palate. Who are these guys? This is pretty good. I'm not gonna lie. Like, this is... I saw this little case, really the Christmassy case, the little wolf, and I thought, this ain't gonna be any good. Like, they're presenting it Ralphie style, they're doing the 46%, but these just aren't. These are good. These are pretty good so far. There is a grungy complexity to this. It is much more overtly peaty on the palate. It's still like that kind of rocky, stony peat is slightly reminiscent, but the context is totally different. Slightly reminiscent to like old Aurora. Oh, this is a fabulous signature. Fruity muesli, graininess. There's a little bit of a multigrain bread thing to this too. So what is that? Some other kind of cereal too. Lucky Charms. There's a little bit of a Lucky Charms thing to this. Don't ask me to explain that. Pear, aromatic pear, a little apple. Got a little bit of that kind of like salted peach pit thing on the back end of this from this on the back end of this too. But again, that's also when the peat comes in, so it has a little bit more to it. I think this is fabulous. Like it's still young. Like you could keep this in a cask and it would just keep on going. Like I'm kind of impressed so far. Kind of fruity, a little bit of a camphor element to this. Oh, nice. I like it. All right, give that a squirt of water. We'll move on. Yeah. Wow. Okay. Wolfburn. All right. This is what is this? Morven. Let's see. Get off of there. Okay. This is the lightly peated ex-bourbon and quarter cask matured one. Yep, 46%. Don't know anything else about it. Very similar to the, what was this one again? Not the Aurora. Very similar to the Northland, initially on the nose. Maybe like a brighter version of the Northland. It's still doing the peaty rocks thing, like minerally peat thing. But now it's showing a more overt classical peatiness. Like there's a little bit of like a, oh geez, what kind of Isla is that? Really like Highland Park peat coming through now. That kind of heathery peat. Plus the kind of stony peat. There's a graininess. Fruit is a little bit dialed back, but you're still getting your muesli, your multi-grain bread, your vanilla, coffee grinds, camphor, a kind of briny note, but it's kind of an independent briny note. Yeah, impressive stuff. Like I don't know, y'all. Like I spent so much time on this channel trashing whiskey, particularly Scotland. Also, maybe bourbon more so, but particularly Scotland. And they're kind of winning me back over. I don't know what I can say. They're kind of winning me back over. Let's see what happens in the palate here. It just feels like a peatier version of the Northland, honestly. Rocks, fruit, grunge. Honestly, I could see Lecheg fans getting into this. Yeah, it's got some of that same energy. Rocks, heathery peat. We're moving away from Brewer peat now. We're moving more into full-blown, like, something between Highland Park and Lecheg. But it's still got the complex, like, muesli with fruit thing. Well, the fruit is pulled back. Vanilla. Sea breeze. Rocks. Camphor. Kind of, yeah. Not sure what else to say about this. It feels like a peatier version of the previous glass. Let me try the previous glass one more time. Very, very, very similar. Very, very, very similar. Just has a little bit more peat, a little more pepper. That's the main difference. All right, let's move on. So this is the Langskip. What is this? This is, well, it's 58% alcohol is what it is. Ex-bourbon cask matured. And it is sweet, balanced, and beautifully easy drinking. I will be the judge of that. Let's see what we got. Okay. And we're kind of back to the Aurora in some respects. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Why is it sticking? Oh, whatever. Yep, I mean, shades of Pulteney. A lot of shades of Pulteney. Tons of fruit, but it has that kind of maritime aggression on it. We've taken away the orange and the Swisher Sweets, but in other ways it smells a lot like the Aurora. I'm not actually getting that much more vanilla of a character, though. Nope. Yeah, it smells like an unsherried version of the Aurora. That's pretty much what we got, and I'm okay with that. I like the graininess. It doesn't have the warm tub funk from Pulteney, but I'm kind of okay with that. I'm okay with them doing their own thing on the palate. Similar energy to the Aurora. Again, it feels like I need to talk directly to those of you who have been looking for fun alternatives to the independent bottlings of Pulteney you keep on buying, and I'm telling you, go try one of these. Rocks, fun grunge. Muesli with kind of mixed fruit, pear, vanilla, lots of vanilla, more vanilla on the palate than there was on the nose. Black pepper, sea salt, sea everything. I mean, very unpeated, but very, very serious. You have to. It demands your respect, this. What this doesn't have, and I kind of miss it, is the weird, fun, salty, burned astringency thing I was getting on the back end of the Aurora. I am missing that on this. Pretty close. I might have liked the Aurora better. I'm not sure. I mean, we'll try them again with water. We'll see. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'll probably need 5, but let's see. We'll do 4.5. Let's do 4.5. Okay, and we will run through these one more time. Yeah, I'm really impressed with these guys. I'm sure, like, the second I end this video, I will find tons of people raving about Wolfburn, throughout the internet. But I don't remember seeing it up until this point. But these are some pretty impressive malts. That said, I also haven't looked at price points. If these are over $100, I'm going to be mad. I will be screaming mad. I will punch a wall. But like, if they're affordable, I don't know. Let's see. Back to the Aurora. You know what? No, I'm not going to. I was going to switch the order on myself, but I'm going to mess that up. That's going to go badly. Yeah, I like this better. I like the addition of the orange to the kind of to all the stuff that was going on in the Langskip. Yeah, that little wedge of orange right in the middle of this just adds a nice little bit of color. You've still got the muesli, the grain, the pear, the vanilla. It's just a delightful nose. I mean, it's not as much of a chameleon as the old Pulteney 12 was, but in some ways it puts me in that mindset. You got that maritime touch. This is good stuff. I like this. I really like this. On the palate, the back end on this is fun. This is fun stuff. Oh yeah, it's such a big old vanilla fruit parade up front. And then it just, turns on a dime, but in a fun way, into like fruity astringency and salt water and some peppery wood also kind of coming in. This is delicious. I'm just drinking this at this point. I am having trouble finding things to criticize about this. It could have more going on. It could have spent more time in cask. It could have more like weird tertiary notes, but this is completely charming me. I'm completely charmed. Score-wise, how crazy do I want to get with this? It's on an 88. I could see an 86. I'll call this an 86 plus. 86 plus for this Wolfburn Aurora. And I did not expect to be handing out 86s in this video, I'm going to be honest. But here we are. And we're moving on to the Northland. This was the rocky one, right? On the nose. Yeah, I'm like this. I'm smelling rocks component of this is just so fun. Yeah, peaty rocks kind of interrupting the kind of signature that you're getting on the Aurora, or really like more like the Langskip, but that kind of thing. Development from where it was. There's a flintiness now, which I'm enjoying. Very similar, though, on the palate. If you have been doing your rounds with the new Scotch distilleries and you haven't tried these yet, you need to get a hold of them. This is really good. This is one that I think could surprise some Ben Romack slash Springbank folks. Honestly, I don't think it's quite up there. With the basic Springbank 10 or whatever, but rocky peat, and the peat is more obvious on the palate. Vanilla, graininess out the wazoo, seawater out the wazoo, a nice mix of fruit. This is a really good malt. It's still young. It's not, going deep in my mouth at all. But it's really good malt. I'm going to try the Aurora one more time. These are very close. All these are very close in quality. Peat is cheating, but sometimes that's fair. I think the peat in this, the little subtle rocky peat on this, is giving it just a little bit of an edge. I'm going to call this an 87. 87 points for this Wolfburn Northland. I can't even remember the names. On to the Morven. Sorry. Much more obvious with its speediness. Yeah, very, very Highland Park. But, you know, yeah, it's somewhere in like a triangle between Highland Park and Lecheg and Pulteney. That's kind of where this lands. And really, in some ways, just, you know, like a more dedicated peated version of the previous class. On the palate. But I don't like it as much. It's a little bit more shallow in the glass, in the mouth. It feels a little bit less complex, a little bit more simple. Just half a notch down. Well, like a whole notch down, really. But we're very close. I'm going to give this an 86. This is still a hell of a malt. Particularly for a distillery that just started. 86 points. Yeah, nice. And then the Langskip. On the nose. In some way, in all respects, the simplest nose on this. You look at the strength and you think, oh, this is going to be like the showstopper, the big old like monster that's going to throw all the flavors in there. No. I think they set out to make a pretty simple malt and then just happened to bottle it at really high strength. This feels like a stripped-down version of the Aurora. That's really what this feels like. Graininess, muesli, seawater, a couple of rocks. Vanilla. Really nice fruit. Again, if you're a Pulteney fan and you're watching this, I'm telling you, you need to try some of these on the palate. It's all nuances with these. Like, I like this a lot. This is really well made. I'm enjoying the combination of graininess and fruit and like maritime-y stuff. But I don't think it's doing as good a job at that formula as the Aurora is. It's a step down. I don't know how much of a step down. Hold on. Back to the Aurora. going to try the Morven again. I think we're about on par with the Morven. This is an 86 pointer. 86 points for this Langskip. It's essentially a simplified version, to my palate, a simplified version of the Aurora that's just been jacked up in strength. But I don't think the additional strength is like really, making case for a higher score. I still like it. But it's not making a case for a higher score. Yeah, so that is the lineup. You have got these last two. Well, first of all, let this be a lesson. Do not necessarily look at the range and discover a high-proof one and decide that has to be the best one. Because in this case, that is not the case. The Morven and the Langskip, the highest proof one and the highest peated one, are not my favorites of this lineup. They're both 86s. Beating them by a little bit are the Aurora, which is just a fantastic variation on kind of what I want from the Pulteney formula, honestly. And then this Northland, which is very dangerous. Like, this could cause some trouble. Like this particular, blend, mix, whatever they're doing. Those of you out there who love your Benromachs and your Springbanks and your Glengyles and all that, this might be a problem for you. 87 points. Thanks for watching. And so I didn't know where this would go on when I set it up. I just wanted to taste out some tasting sets, but clearly the Wolfburns are stomping all over the Glasgows, and yet I cannot be mad because I love this triple distilled thing anyways. And I guess that's the takeaway. Thanks for watching, and cheers.